Ever feel like your cloud strategy is just lost in the wilderness? You're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful tool that's basically a GPS for your cloud spending. It's called the FinOps Assessment. Let's find a clear path forward together.
So, does this sound familiar? You're spending a lot on the cloud. You know it's creating value somewhere, but you can't quite nail down how valuable, or if you're even pointed in the right direction. It's a super common feeling, kind of like you're flying a plane with no instruments.
You know, that uncertainty? We can think of it as a cloud cost fog. It's just really easy to get lost when you can't see where you're going. So our first move is to just acknowledge that this challenge is real. And hey, if you're feeling this, trust me, you are not alone. This struggle to connect what you're doing in the cloud to actual real business value is a huge problem for so many companies. Without a tool to measure how effective you are, you're pretty much just guessing.
Okay, so how do we cut through all that fog? Well, you need a compass. And in the world of cloud financial management, your compass is the FinOps Assessment. It's literally designed to give you a true north.
So what is this thing really? Well, think of it as a structured, repeatable checkup on how you manage cloud costs. But here's the key. The point isn't just to find all the problems. It's about spotting what you're already doing right and then building a clear, actionable plan for the future.
And this right here gets to the real strategic value. You can see it's not just some boring audit. It's about measuring what actually works, making sure your cloud activities line up with business goals, and, this is a big one, getting that crucial collaboration going between finance, engineering, and leadership.
Okay, so we have our compass. Now, how do we actually use it to chart a course? Well, the process itself is actually pretty straightforward. It just breaks down into a few key steps.
It all boils down to 3 simple stages. First, you just decide what you want to learn. What are your goals? Second, you do your first assessment to figure out where you are right now. That's your baseline. And third, and this is so critical, you have to make it continuous. This isn't a one-and-done thing. It's a cycle of constant improvement. The best way to think about this whole process is as a journey. The FinOps framework breaks it down into 3 really intuitive stages: crawl, walk, and run. And the most important thing to remember here is that everybody starts at crawl. It's a totally natural progression.
Now, just to give you a sense of the scale of this journey, look at the contrast here. A crawl organization, they've got pretty simple cloud use. Maybe they do an informal check-in once a year. A run organization, on the other hand, is dealing with massive complexity and has this deeply embedded, almost real-time discipline.
Let's take a closer look at that crawl stage. This is for organizations that are just getting started. The assessment happens maybe once a year. It's probably pretty manual, think spreadsheets, and it's really focused on just that core FinOps team. The big win here is just establishing a baseline, your first point on the map. Okay, now in the lock stage, things start to get a little more formal. The frequency picks up, you're using a consistent format, and you're starting to assess specific business units. And that jump from crawl to walk, it's not just about process. It's a mindset shift from being reactive to proactively aligning your cloud spend with what different teams are trying to achieve.
And finally, we get to the run stage. This is for those really mature organizations where assessments are a quarterly habit. They're deeply integrated across all the business units. You've got trained assessors everywhere. And all those learnings get shared back to a central place, creating this amazing feedback loop that just drives continuous, smart optimization.
Of course, you can't go on this journey alone. FinOps is a team sport, 100%. The assessment process is really designed to bring all these different roles, or personas, together with a shared understanding and a shared purpose. And here's where it really starts to click for the technical folks. The engineer isn't just off building things in a silo anymore. They are taking direct input from these assessments to make smarter, more cost-effective architectural choices right from the very beginning.
And it's the same story for the finance partner. They use this data to inform their own decisions. It completely bridges that gap between what's happening on the technical side and the overall financial strategy, making sure everyone is working off the same information and, speaking the same language. And finally, leadership. They play the role of the navigator, really. They set the destination. By defining really clear business goals, they give the entire assessment process its purpose. They make sure the FinOps team can actually measure its true impact on the organization.
So, you've got your compass, you're on your journey, your whole crew is assembled. How do you know if you're actually making any progress? How do you measure the success of the assessment program itself?
Well, you track it with concrete metrics.
You can measure things like the number of assessments you do each year, what percentage of your organization you've actually covered, and how many people you've trained up. And these aren't just vanity metrics, they are direct indicators of your program's reach and its maturity. Ultimately, the FinOps assessment gives you the clarity and the direction to turn cloud spending from something that causes anxiety into a real strategic advantage. And it all starts by just taking an honest look at where you are right now. So the question to leave you with is this: where are you on the map today? Are you at crawl, walk, or run?